Okay, so we've all had a chance to dig into this HVAC market analysis for Metro Vancouver 2025-2027. It's a pretty substantial report, right?
It really is. Lots to unpack there.
And that's exactly what we're here to do, to sort of give you the express lane through all of the data. What we're going to do in this deep dive is pull out the most crucial, the most interesting, the stuff that really matters so you can quickly understand what's shaping the heating and cooling market in Metro Vancouver, both right now and looking ahead. We're talking about the commercial sector, what's happening residential, the trends that are gaining traction, the challenges everyone's facing, and even how contractors are trying to reach customers online.
Yeah, it's not just about the numbers, it's about understanding the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first things that jumps out from this analysis is the projected growth, a solid 5.8% per year. That's going to push this market to a pretty substantial CAD, $650 million dollars by 2027.
That's not insignificant.
No, not at all. And
Uh,
that kind of growth, it tells you something about the underlying dynamics, right? It's not just a random blip.
right. It's not just a general upward trend. The report actually pinpoints some very specific things that are driving that growth. For instance, there's a ton of new construction happening, over 30,000 new housing units, plus 4.2 million square feet of commercial space. That's a lot of new HVAC systems going in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you layer on top of that the regulatory landscape. You've got the BC Energy Step Code,
Yeah.
which is really pushing for a much higher energy efficiency in new HVAC installations, and Vancouver's new mandate that's requiring air conditioning in all new residential builds. That's a game changer, especially when you think about how our summers are trending warmer.
Yeah, and that brings us to technology, right? It seems like smart HVAC systems are no longer just this niche luxury. They're growing at a really fast clip, like 12.5% a year. People are really embracing that connected control, the potential energy savings.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that it's not just about having the latest gadget. I mean, sure, some people are into that, but these smart systems are often tied to energy savings. They can provide valuable data on system performance, which is becoming increasingly important for homeowners and building managers alike. Plus, let's not forget the impact of climate change, right? Warmer summers are definitely driving the demand for AC.
No doubt about it.
And as people become more aware of air quality issues, we're also seeing systems with better filtration gaining more traction. So it's this convergence of needs and technology, really.
Now, while there's all this activity and growth happening, the report also makes it clear that the HVAC market in Metro Vancouver is very competitive, something like 450
A
contractors.
lot of players, yeah.
But it sounds like a smaller group really controls a significant chunk of the market.
That's right. The analysis suggests that there are maybe 15 to 20 major companies that account for about 55% of the market share. And I think it's interesting to think about why that is. Often it comes down to reputation, those long-standing relationships with developers, and also having the marketing resources to really reach a broader audience.
Right, because it's not just about being good at installing and fixing HVAC systems anymore, is it?
No, not at all. We're also seeing more consolidation happening. Larger companies are acquiring smaller, more specialized businesses, and you've got national chains that are increasingly establishing a presence in the local market. So for smaller companies or newer entrants, it's definitely a challenge to stand out.
Yeah, and the report doesn't shy away from the challenges that everyone in the industry is facing, right? The skilled labor shortages are still there, those supply chain disruptions we keep hearing about, and then the rising costs of materials, the cost of running a business. These are real headwinds for everyone.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And then on top of all that, customer expectations are constantly evolving. People want quick response times, transparent pricing, reliable service. I mean, the report even mentions the emergence of DIY solutions for some very basic maintenance tasks, although I think that's probably more at the lower end of the market. It doesn't really address the complexity of modern HVAC systems.
Right. Okay, so we've laid out the big picture. Let's get into some of the specifics now, starting with the commercial sector, which, according to this report, makes up about 60% of the Metro Vancouver HVAC market. So, what are the key segments we should be paying attention to here?
Well, the commercial landscape is quite diverse, and the report breaks it down into a few key areas. You've got office buildings, healthcare facilities, retail and hospitality, industrial manufacturing, and then a really interesting growth area, which is data centers.
Data centers, yeah, that makes sense with, the increasing demand for digital infrastructure, cloud computing, all of that. And the report actually points to data centers as the fastest growing segment at 8.2% annually, largely because of the need for very specific, very high density cooling. What else stood out to you within these commercial segments?
Well, in office buildings, we're seeing a couple of things. First, there's a lot of new construction. 2.5 million square feet of new office space is projected, and there's a huge emphasis on indoor air quality. That's something that's really come to the forefront post-pandemic.
Right, it's no longer just about temperature control.
Exactly. We're also seeing variable refrigerant flow, or VRF, systems becoming increasingly popular in office buildings. Basically, these are systems that are much more energy efficient, and they allow for individual zone control, which is great for multi-tenant buildings. Healthcare facilities, as you can imagine, have incredibly strict air quality requirements, driving demand for very specialized HVAC systems. And the report really emphasizes this because there's a high density of medical facilities in Metro Vancouver.
So that's a unique factor here.
It is. Then you have retail and hospitality, which are starting to show signs of recovery. But energy efficiency is a major priority for them, obviously, to manage those operational costs. Industrial manufacturing facilities often require specialized process cooling and energy recovery systems, depending on their specific operations. So there's a lot of variation within those segments.
So beyond these specific segments, what are the overarching trends that are shaping the commercial HVAC market in Metro Vancouver? I mean, it's more than just installing new units, right?
Oh, absolutely. Energy efficiency is a huge driver. The report says that 72% of commercial HVAC projects have a really strong focus on energy efficiency. We're seeing more and more heat recovery ventilation systems being installed to minimize energy loss. Indoor air quality, as we've talked about, is paramount. MRV13 filters are becoming the new standard in a lot of applications.
Can you explain what those are quickly?
Sure. A MRV13 filter is a type of air filter that's much more effective at capturing smaller airborne particles. It's a significant step up in filtration capability compared to standard filters.
Okay, so higher level of filtration, better air quality.
Exactly. Sustainability is also a major theme. There's a big push towards electrification and meeting those carbon reduction targets. And then finally, technology integration is key. We're seeing a lot more adoption of IoT, that's the Internet of Things, where systems are interconnected and can be controlled remotely, as well as building management systems and remote monitoring capabilities.
So if you're an HVAC contractor looking at the commercial market in Metro Vancouver, where are the most promising opportunities right now?
Well, the retrofit market is huge. The report states that 65% of commercial buildings in Metro Vancouver are over 20 years old. That's a lot of potential for upgrades, especially to improve energy efficiency and take advantage of those available incentives.
Right, because older buildings are probably not as energy efficient as newer ones.
Exactly. And then specializing in areas like VRF system installation and maintenance, building automation systems, and energy performance contracting, those are all in high demand. And don't forget about service contracts. Offering proactive maintenance and performance-based agreements, those can provide a nice, stable, recurring revenue stream.
So it's not just about one-off installations, it's about building those long-term relationships with clients.
Exactly. And the report actually names some of the major commercial players, which gives you a sense of who the big actors are in this space. You've got established regional companies like EBC Mechanical, Pacific HVAC Systems, West Coast Comfort, Metro Mechanical Services. These are all companies with significant market share. And then you also have those national players like Johnson Controls, and then specialized contractors who focus on particular niches like data center cooling or HVAC solutions for healthcare facilities.
All right, so that's the commercial side. Let's shift gears now and talk about the residential HVAC market in Metro Vancouver, which makes up the other 40%. What's the breakdown of activity there?
So the residential sector is primarily made up of single-family homes, which still represent the largest segment. Then you have the multifamily residential sector, which is growing rapidly, the luxury home market, and a substantial number of older homes that will eventually need system replacements.
The report mentions that the multifamily segment is growing particularly fast at 7.2% annually. What's fueling that growth?
Well, a significant portion of new housing development in Metro Vancouver is multifamily, and VRF and ductless mini-split systems are often the preferred choice for these buildings because of their flexibility and efficiency. We're also seeing a trend towards more centralized heating and cooling systems with individual metering for each unit. That's becoming more common. Noise reduction and space efficiency are also big considerations in multifamily dwellings, especially in a dense urban environment like Metro Vancouver.
And what are the key trends shaping the residential HVAC market? Are they similar to what we're seeing on the commercial side, or are there distinct factors at play?
There is some overlap, definitely, but there are also some unique trends. Heat pump adoption is a big one. That's growing at almost 16% annually, driven by those government incentives and the broader shift toward electrification. Air conditioning is also becoming more and more common, with a projected penetration rate of 65% by 2027. And within that category, ductless mini-split systems are experiencing the most rapid growth.
Which makes sense given their versatility and efficiency.
Exactly. Smart home integration is another major trend. Almost 80% of new residential HVAC installations now include smart thermostats. And just like in the commercial sector, indoor air quality is a growing concern, with HEPA filtration systems seeing really impressive growth in demand.
So for HVAC contractors focused on the residential market, what are the key opportunities they should be targeting?
Energy efficiency upgrades are a big one, especially those that leverage the Clean BC rebates and other incentive programs. Homeowners are really interested in reducing their energy consumption and their environmental impact.
It's good for the planet and for their wallets.
Yes, exactly. Preventive maintenance programs, particularly those subscription-based models that offer regular checkups and tune-ups, are also gaining popularity. And then, with the sometimes unpredictable weather we have here in Metro Vancouver, those 24/7 emergency repair services are always in demand and can command a premium.
Because when your furnace goes out in the middle of a cold snap, you're willing to pay to get it fixed fast.
Exactly. And the report lists some of the key players in the residential market. Some of the names we saw on the commercial side are there, but there are also some different companies that are more focused on residential. Ashton Service Group, Milani, Gandy, ProAce. These are all significant regional players. You also have national companies like Service Experts and Reliance Home Comfort with a strong presence. But what's interesting is that the report also points to the emergence of these smaller, more specialized disruptors companies, focusing specifically on heat pump installations, subscription-based maintenance services, or indoor air quality solutions. So it suggests that the competitive landscape is evolving.
It's not just the big guys anymore. Now, one thing this report really emphasizes is the critical role of digital marketing for HVAC contractors in Metro Vancouver. It's not enough to just be good at the technical stuff anymore, is it?
No, absolutely not. In today's market, especially in a competitive urban area like Metro Vancouver, having a strong digital presence is essential for attracting new customers. And the report gets into a lot of detail about specific strategies that are proving to be effective.
So let's start with AI-powered content marketing. That sounds pretty advanced for a lot of HVAC businesses.
It might sound futuristic, but these AI tools are becoming increasingly accessible, and they can be used for things like generating initial drafts of blog posts or answering frequently asked questions on your website. This can help companies maintain a more consistent online presence and free up their staff for other tasks. AI-driven chatbots can also enhance customer engagement by providing instant answers to common inquiries and following up with potential leads. But, and the report is right to caution this, human oversight is still crucial. You want to make sure that the information is accurate, and you want to maintain that personal touch that's so important in the service industry.
Right, you don't want to sound like a robot.
Exactly.
What about the more traditional side of digital marketing, like SEO, search engine optimization? The report talks a lot about hyper-local SEO.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense when you think about it. HVAC services are inherently local. I mean, if your furnace breaks down in the middle of a Vancouver winter, you're not going to be searching for a contractor in, Toronto.
Right, you want someone who's nearby.
Exactly. So hyperlocal SEO is all about optimizing your Google business profile with very specific information about your services and the neighborhoods you serve. It's about creating website content that directly addresses the needs and challenges of those local areas. For example, mentioning things like Richmond's proximity to the ocean and the potential for corrosion, or the fact that Burnaby has a mix of older and newer homes with different HVAC needs. It's about optimizing for voice search queries, because more and more people are using their phones to find local services. And it's about actively managing your online reputation by encouraging customer reviews and responding to them appropriately.
So it's about showing up in the right searches, being visible to the right people.
Exactly. And then there's this thing called schema markup, which is basically code that helps search engines better understand the information on your website that can also significantly improve your local search visibility.
So it's about making it easy for Google to understand what your business is all about. Now, video marketing seems to be everywhere these days. How can HVAC contractors in Metro Vancouver use video effectively?
Video is incredibly powerful for building trust and showing potential customers what you're all about. You can create short, informative, how-to videos that are relevant to Vancouver's climate.
Yeah.
So, how to prepare your AC for a wet spring or troubleshoot a common furnace issue in the winter.
Practical tips?
Exactly. Customer testimonials are also great. Get those happy customers to talk about their experience, especially if they're from specific Metro Vancouver neighborhoods. That adds a lot of credibility. You can also do behind-the-scenes glimpses of your company culture, maybe even live Q&A sessions where you answer common HVAC questions from local residents. It's all about connecting with people on a more personal level. And the report emphasizes the importance of using multiple platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and focusing on shorter video formats that are optimized for social media.
So it's about creating content that people actually want to watch that's engaging and informative.
Exactly.
Now, the report also talks about paid online advertising. With so many HVAC companies in Metro Vancouver, it's probably necessary to cut through the noise, right?
Absolutely. And the report highlights a few really effective strategies. Geo-targeted ads, particularly Google local service ads, are great for capturing immediate needs. These ads show up at the top of the search results when someone's looking for a local HVAC contractor. Remarketing, where you target people who have visited your website before, is also really effective. You can also use lookalike audiences to find new potential customers who have similar profiles to your existing clients. Of course, you want to adjust your campaigns based on the seasons. Focus on heating services in the fall and winter, cooling services in the spring and summer. And A/B testing your ad copy and your landing page design is crucial for maximizing your return on investment.
So it's a very data-driven approach to advertising.
It is.
Now, what about email and SMS marketing? Are those still relevant in the age of social media?
Oh, absolutely. Email and SMS are great for nurturing those relationships with your customers and driving repeat business. You can send out seasonal reminders for maintenance, offer exclusive promotions to your subscribers, follow up with customers after a service appointment to make sure they're happy, and ask for a review. You can even send reminders to people who started an online booking but didn't complete it. And all of these messages can be automated and personalized to increase engagement and conversions.
So it's about staying top of mind, providing value, and making it easy for people to do business with you.
Exactly.
The report also talks about interactive and AI-driven websites. What does that look like for an HVAC company?
Well, think of your website as more than just a static brochure. AI-powered chatbots can provide 24/7 customer support, answer common questions about local regulations or specific service areas, and even help people schedule appointments. You can even incorporate augmented reality features that allow homeowners to visualize how a new ductless system would look in their living room. Streamlined online booking and interactive energy savings calculators can also enhance the user experience and encourage conversions. And of course, ensuring that your website is fully optimized for mobile devices is essential because most people are going to be searching for HVAC services on their phones.
Right, because you don't want to lose potential customers just because your website is clunky on a mobile device.
Exactly.
Now, the report really digs into Google ranking and map pack optimization, and it makes it sound like that's absolutely critical for HVAC contractors in Metro Vancouver. Why is getting into that local 3-pack so important?
It's really all about visibility. 93% of local searches for home services start on Google, and a huge chunk of those clicks, something like 43%, go to the businesses listed in the map pack. That's that little box with the top 3 local results that shows up at the top of the search page.
So if you're not in that map pack, you're potentially missing out on a lot of business.
Exactly, and the businesses in that map pack, they get a lot more clicks, and they build instant credibility because they're right there at the top. So if you're an HVAC contractor and you're not showing up in that top 3 for relevant searches in your service area, you're really missing out.
Okay, so what are the key steps to getting into that map pack? The report talks about optimizing your Google business profile. What are the most important things to focus on?
It starts with the basics, making sure that your business name, address, and phone number, your NIP information, is consistent across all online platforms. But then it gets more strategic. You want to select seasonally relevant primary categories for your Google business profile. So for example, during the colder months, you might want to focus on heating contractor as your primary category. Then in the warmer months, you might switch to AC repair.
So you're basically telling Google what services you're most focused on at that particular time of year.
Exactly. And then you want to optimize your business name to include relevant service keywords if you can do that legally. So instead of just ABC Mechanical, you might have ABC Mechanical Heating and Cooling Specialists, Vancouver.
So you're giving Google more clues about what you do.
Right. Your physical location can also play a role. If you're strategically positioned in a more central area of Metro Vancouver, you're more likely to show up in searches for Vancouver, Burnaby, Richmond, those central municipalities. And then, of course, you need to accurately define your service areas in your Google business profile. Make sure you list all the specific cities and neighborhoods you serve, from Vancouver all the way out to Langley and beyond.
So it's about being really specific about where you operate.
Yes, and the report also talks a lot about the importance of online reviews.
Right, because reviews are huge these days. People really trust those online reviews.
They do. And reviews are a big factor in your Google ranking, especially for that map pack. It's about quantity, quality, content, and consistency. You want more reviews than your competitors. You want to maintain a high average star rating, ideally 4.7 or higher. You want those reviews to be detailed and specific. Encourage people to mention the services they received, maybe the technician's name, and the location where the service was performed. And you want those reviews to be coming in consistently, not just a bunch all at once and then nothing for months.
So it's about building a reputation online that shows Google that you're a legitimate, trustworthy business.
Exactly. And then beyond just getting reviews, you need to respond to them, both the positive and the negative ones. It shows potential customers that you care about their feedback and that you're responsive.
It shows that you're engaged.
Yes. Now, beyond your Google business profile, the report talks a lot about creating local content on your website. It's not enough to just have generic information about HVAC services, right?
Right, because you need to connect with that local Metro Vancouver audience.
Exactly. You need to show Google that you understand the specific needs of people in this area. So create dedicated service area pages for each of the municipalities you serve: Vancouver, Burnaby, Richmond, Surrey, North Vancouver, West Vancouver, Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam, New Westminster, Delta, Langley. List them all out.
Be very specific.
And on those pages, talk about things that are relevant to that specific area. Mention local landmarks, talk about the common HVAC challenges in that area related to the climate or the types of homes that are common there. Showcase projects you've completed in that municipality. If you're involved in any local community events or sponsorships, highlight that on those pages as well.
So it's about painting a picture of your connection to that specific community.
Exactly. Now, one thing that can be a bit tricky is local link building. How do you get other websites to link to your site?
Yeah, that's always a challenge.
The report outlines 3 key strategies: local foundation sponsorships, contractor network links, and local media outreach. With local foundation sponsorships, you partner with Vancouver area charities, sponsor local events, support school fundraisers, things like that. A lot of these organizations will list their sponsors on their websites, and that provides a valuable link back to your site. Contractor network links involve building relationships with other businesses in the home services industry: roofers, plumbers, electricians, insulation contractors, home builders, remodelers. You can agree to recommend each other on your websites, and that creates those valuable local links.
So it's about forming those strategic partnerships.
Right. And then local media outreach is about connecting with journalists, bloggers, community news outlets in the Metro Vancouver area. Offer your expertise. Maybe contribute guest articles or provide expert commentary. That can often lead to links back to your website.
So it's about becoming a trusted source of information for those local media outlets.
Exactly. And then there's the technical side of website optimization, things like schema markup, which we talked about earlier. This is about providing extra context to search engines about your business and the content on your website. So for example, using local business schema tells Google your name, address, phone number, hours of operation, the types of services you offer, and all of that. Service area schema explicitly states the geographic areas you serve. Review schema highlights your customer ratings. FAQ schema makes your site eligible for those question and answer snippets that show up in search results. And product or service schema for your specific HVAC offerings further clarifies what you do.
So it's about making it really clear to Google what your business is all about.
Right. And a well-structured website with a logical URL hierarchy, content that's organized by service and location, and proper internal linking, all of that helps Google understand and index your website better, making it more likely to show up in relevant searches.
Okay, so you've done all this work to get people to your website. The next challenge is actually converting those visitors into leads and ultimately customers. And the report really digs into website conversion optimization, specifically for Metro Vancouver HVAC companies, suggesting that there's a lot of room for improvement in this area.
Absolutely. The average conversion rate for HVAC websites is pretty low, something like 5 to 10%. But the top performing companies are seeing conversion rates of 15 to 30% or even higher. And you have to remember, you have a very short window to make a good first impression online that's often measured in milliseconds. And with most people accessing websites on their phones these days, website speed is crucial.
Right. People are impatient. If your website takes too long to load, they're going to go somewhere else.
Exactly. So you want to aim for a page speed score of at least 70. And you need to ensure that your website is designed for a seamless mobile experience.
Mobile first.
Exactly. And then AI-powered chatbots, those can significantly boost conversion rates by engaging visitors right away and guiding them through the process.
So it's about making the experience as smooth and easy as possible.
Right. Now, visuals are also incredibly important for conversions. You want to use professional photography and high-quality images on your website. Photos of your branded trucks, your technicians' before and after photos of projects you've completed. This helps build trust and showcase your professionalism. But make sure you compress those images so they don't slow down your website. And think about incorporating local landmarks into your photos. It reinforces your connection to Metro Vancouver.
So it's about making your website visually appealing, but also fast and functional.
Exactly. Now, those calls to action, those call us now buttons and contact forms, those are critical for conversions. Make sure they're prominently placed above the fold so people don't have to scroll to find them. Use clear, action-oriented language. Highlight your unique value proposition. For contact forms, keep them short and sweet. Ask only for essential information. And surround those forms with trust signals. Display positive reviews from local customers, your BBB accreditation, any relevant industry certifications you have, maybe logos of local organizations you partner with.
So it's about making it as easy as possible for people to contact you and giving them reasons to trust you.
Right. Now, live chat is another feature that can be very effective for conversions. Larger companies can have staff available to answer questions and book appointments through live chat. Smaller companies can use AI-powered chatbots. These chatbots can be trained to answer common questions, handle after-hours inquiries, and even route urgent requests to the right person. And they're available 24/7.
So it's another way to provide that instant customer service.
It is. And mobile optimization, we've talked about speed, but it's more than that. You need to design your website with mobile devices in mind. Make sure the navigation is easy to use on a small screen, that the buttons are big enough to tap with your thumb, and that you have click-to-call functionality throughout the site.
So it's about creating a user experience that's specifically designed for mobile devices.
Exactly. Now, finally, you need to actively build trust with your website visitors. Show them that you're a reputable local business. Display recent positive reviews from your Google business profile, highlight your HVAC credentials, showcase any local partnerships you have, clearly outline your warranties and guarantees, demonstrate your knowledge of the Metro Vancouver market, and emphasize any involvement you have in local community initiatives. All of these things work together to build confidence and turn those visitors into customers.
So it's about creating a holistic online presence that instills trust and makes people want to do business with you.
Exactly. And the report emphasizes the importance of creating service-specific landing pages. Don't just have one general services page. Create separate pages for each of your core offerings. Furnace repair, AC repair, heat pump installation, ductless mini splits, emergency services, etc.
So break it down.
Right. And on each of those pages, provide very specific information about that service. Pricing, customer testimonials, before and after photos, guarantees, FAQs. Make it super clear what you offer and why people should choose you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. What are the key takeaways? What should our listener really focus on?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the Metro Vancouver HVAC market is growing, but it's also very competitive. To succeed, you need to be more than just a skilled technician. You need to be a savvy marketer. You need to embrace technology. You need to be hyper-focused on the local market. And you need to build trust with your customers at every touch point.
So it's a combination of technical expertise, digital marketing skills, and a deep understanding of the Metro Vancouver community.
Precise.
Well, this has been a very insightful deep dive into the Metro Vancouver HVAC market. We've covered a lot of ground, but we hope it's given you a better understanding of the opportunities and challenges in this market.
Absolutely. And this analysis provides a really valuable strategic framework. Hopefully, you now have a clearer idea of which areas within the Metro Vancouver HVAC market warrant your attention.
So as you think about all of this, we'll leave you with this question. Which of these trends or strategies presents the biggest opportunity for you, or perhaps the biggest challenge in the context of Metro Vancouver? And how can you use this information to make better decisions for your business? It's clear that in this very localized market, your online presence and your real-world service delivery are now more intertwined than ever before.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.